Hi everyone, thanks for dropping by. Today's video is going to be a Thanksgiving special where for the first time I'm going to attempt a cook that will be over 4 hours. So I'm going to be doing pulled pork, which will be starting around about 6 or 7 in the morning and then hopefully be ready in time for dinner. Okay, so here we are. So what we're doing right now is setting up the coals today just to basically save time for tomorrow. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do now, and then tomorrow you'll see me light it and then we'll go through with the cook. The first thing we're going to need is some coal. That's probably too much, but we'll find out in a moment. I'm not going to make you sit and watch this in its entirety, but basically what we're going to do is build what they call a snake or a fuse, where you do almost complete circle, depending on how much time you need, and you would ignite one end and it would slowly burn around, and then obviously when it gets to the other end, if you need more time you can add some more coals, but the logic's meant to be that it creates a nice slow burn effect where it will go around the snake, and then as over time goes you can rotate it if you need. Wow, well that was pretty good. That is almost perfect, so we're going to pop that one just in there. It's important that all the coals touch each other because as one would ignite, as that burns through, it will subsequently light the next one and the next one and so on and so forth. I put a double row on the bottom and I've also put a single row on the top, so that should create a little bit of extra burn time. I've got a few of the coals laying around from a previous cook that I'm going to throw in too. And what we're going to do now is put a few bits of apple wood for this particular cook scattered around the first part that will burn off through the first couple of hours and create that smoke. After a while the meat will have a crust on it and a bark on it and shouldn't really let too much more smoke in anyway, so let's do that. Okay, so I have a few chunks of apple wood here, one quite large one, I'm going to pop that at the beginning, and a few other ones I'm going to scatter around. I had to cut these up because the chunks that I have are actually too big, so I'll pop this one just right there at the beginning, and we'll pop that just on there, because basically we need to leave room for the ignition coals, which we light in the morning, to catch here and then catch here and obviously burn around. So we'll pop another one maybe just in there if it wants to stay still, and then the smaller one just around there like that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out this big one just for this smaller one, so I don't know if we necessarily need a piece that's that big, so we'll pop that one in there. Okay, and so that's basically it for the time being. Next time you see me, I'll be wearing different clothes, it'll probably be quite dark, and I'll be using the chimney starter in here to get those coals going. It's going to be around 6:30 to 7 o'clock on Thursday morning, which is Thanksgiving Day. And I will also show you very soon the preparation of the pork that will subsequently sit here all day and bask in the glory of this steak. So here we go, it's day 2. It's 6:38 AM. I'm tired and bleary-eyed. It's 2 degrees outside. We're going to light this coal and get a Thanksgiving party on the road. Okay. Chimney starter onto the grill. Fire. Okay, so while the coal is heating up, we need to prepare the pork. I've got myself one of these black gloves because frankly if you're not wearing black nitrile gloves when you're barbecuing, are you even barbecuing? Here is the pork, which we'll pop into a tray. There's a bone in here, which is good because later on that is going to tell us whether or not we think we're almost cooked. And also when it's got a bone in, you ensure that you get a little bit less dry meat. I've got the Angus and Oink sweet bones and butts, which we used on the ribs. It was really good. We're going to go again. Now obviously you want to get this as evenly covered as you possibly can. The best way to do that is to go from a height, a bit of flaring. Just give it a little bit of a rest. And obviously get all over it. Now the benefit of this nice big tray is anything that falls aside I can pick up again and mop up and ensure that all the edges are covered, as well as the base. So I'm going to finish this off and you can see the finished product in just a minute. Here I am, shorts and t-shirt, it's 3 degrees. The grill is now at just under 250 Fahrenheit, which means we are ready for pork. So, there we go. I'm going to pop it as best as I can in the middle, over the tray. Take our probe. We want to try and avoid the bone, which is around there. So you want to make sure you're getting a nice deep part where there isn't a bone. So I'm going to go sort of in there. So that's a good centre point for the time being. Let's shut this down. We're not coming back now for about 3 hours, unless I see any dramatic issues with the temperature. Here we are, it is 12:15, just after midday. The pork has now been on for about 4.5 hours, so I think it's a good time to check and see how well it's coming on. Oh wow, well, look at that. We're about a third of the way through the coal. That is looking lovely. Not particularly crusty just yet, but that's looking lovely. Yeah, very happy with that. The internal temperature is sitting roughly where, a little bit off perhaps where it's going to be when it comes to wrap it. Just keeping an eye on it for the time being, because the temperature of the pit has been a little bit up and down as of late, and the probe has been a tad unreliable. So I'm going to shut that down. So it's coming up to 1 o'clock, which means we've been cooking for ballpark 5 hours now. The colour is looking good. The internal temperature is now around 163, I think it was when I checked just now, which is in the ballpark of where I want it to be when I want to wrap it. We don't put too much more colour on it because I've checked it and obviously it looked good just now. So now we're going to go and try and make sure that we keep all that moisture in by wrapping it up, chucking it back on. Here we go! Let's wrap this bad boy. You want to keep it nice and tight. Just make sure that you remember where the bone is, which is there, because at some point I've got to put the probe back in. So I've got a bit of a spritz here. I'm just going to spray some on the top and in the bottom, and that's just extra moisture. And then, there we go. What I'll do at the end is I'll check on it when I think the temperature's almost there, and if it looks like it needs just a bit more crust on the top, then I'll unwrap it, leave it on the barbecue for a little bit longer. So let's wrap this bad boy. Okay, so that's wrapped. So what I'm going to do now, take it back to the grill. I'm going to pop the temperature probe back into the meat, and then I'm going to put this back on the grill, and then we'll probably give it a couple of hours or so just to keep an eye on the temperature, see how things go, and I'll be back. So here we are, it is 3:30. We started this at 7:45, and according to the Inkbird app, hopefully you can see that, we're at an internal temperature of 207. That's a tiny bit over the target temperature, so I'm going to go take it off now, whilst I then have a look at it, and I'll show you how it looks, and then if we think it needs any longer, whether it needs to be opened up and put back on, we can do that afterwards. Okay, here we go, let's take a look, and then I've got my thermopen here, and we'll just do a bit of a check around the other temperatures. 207. Wow, that has gone in like a knife through butter. So what I'm going to do is wrap this bad boy back up, cover it in some tea towels, let it rest until we eat. Oh, I've been resting for about 4 hours, and so that is good. And apparently the test is, if the bone comes out clean, it is done. And that is as clean as they come. Look at that. Wowzers. Impressed myself. I've always wanted to do this, so let's see if it works. Are you ready? Oh yeah. Technically, if you follow the experts and whatnot, you're not really meant to do this, because you separate the muscles and get the good bits and the bad bits, but I'm hungry, man. I've been cooking this all day. So this is ridiculous. Let's get this mashed up and in my belly. There is enough here to feed me and the family for about a month. You can see the pink and the smoke. Make sure I get all the juices. Look at that bark on there. In fact, we'll save that bit. Taste test in a minute. Okay, here we go. This is the taste test. That's very good. And that's probably for the best. Because there's a lot of it. Thumbs up from me. So there we go, another cook done. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and what a journey it's been. It's taken the best part of 12 hours since I cracked open my eyes this morning and ran downstairs to subsequently get some food in my belly. But I very much enjoyed it. A few things to learn for future cooks and whatnot, but this was my first time, and I don't know if I referenced in the video earlier, so just so that you know, that this was an 8.8 pound or approximately 4 kilos pork shoulder, pork butt, whatever you want to call it, so you know that the times and techniques and whatever that I used and I showed you are relevant to that particular size. Anyway, if you did enjoy, thumbs up, always appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would do so. There will be more videos like this coming soon. There's some already in the archive you can watch, and there'll be other content coming in the near future. Thank you so much, as always, and I hope to see you all again very soon.